Good afternoon. Welcome to Vandy 24/7 podcast presented by FanDuel. I'm your host, Chris Lee, joined by Seabass. As we try to do on Fridays, doesn't always work, but we try to make it work when it does. Fortunately, it did today. Before we get to our man Seabass, just a heads up, we'll talk today about Clark Lee getting a National Coach of the Year honor. We'll talk about Diego Pavia and the week he had, whatever you call that. We'll talk hoops. Vanderbilt still unbeaten in hoops as we do this on Friday afternoon. And before we do all that, we remind you our football coverage is presented by former Vanderbilt kicker Joe Bulovas with Bulovas Wealth Management of Raymond James. If there is one thing we all share, it is that our lives are unique. At Raymond James, we believe that is worth celebrating, because better financial planning isn't just about numbers and figures. It is about creating the life you envision. So whether you are building a future or prepping for retirement, a Raymond James financial advisor like Joe can help guide you each step of the way while following a plan that is uniquely yours. That is life well planned. To call Joe or to get in touch with Joe, who is at Bulovas Wealth Management for Raymond James. You can tell I'm really botching this ad. I need to enlarge the font a little bit. Anyway, Joe, you can reach him at 615-645-6742. Raymond James and Associates, Incorporated members, New York Stock Exchange, SIPC. Joe is a super nice guy, knows his stuff. Recommend you get in touch with Joe. And thank you to him for sponsoring football season. It's also basketball season. And for that, we thank the Wash House for presenting our content this season. Commodore fans, do not waste your weekends stuck doing laundry when you could be cheering on the Doors. At the Wash House Laundry Center, we've got your back with our brand new pickup and delivery service. We will wash it, fold it, drop it back off fresh, clean, and game day ready. It is perfect for busy students, fans, and Nashville families on the go. Schedule your pickup now at washhouseclean.com. Anchor down with the Wash House Laundry Center. Steve Andrews runs that place. Good friend of mine, big Vanderbilt fan, just one of the most outstanding people I know. Speaking of the most outstanding people I know, our man Seabass joins us today. The connection's looking great.
Well, thank you. Yeah.
You're looking great.
I'd love to take credit for all that, but my engineer here hooked me up with all that. So we should be good to go. No jinxes here to go, but we should be squared away. But thank you, man.
Well, let's give it a whirl. Where would you like to start?
I want to talk about the Wash House. I want to talk about the Wash House, and if they wouldn't mind washing away a memory for me.
Okay.
That's that basketball game. Dear God, that's the worst basketball game I've ever watched. I think that's the worst game I've ever watched in my life. And here's why. Because, and I get it. Sometimes a bad team can drag you down into a bad-looking contest, but they didn't force you to play one-on-one basketball. They didn't force you to jack shots up and make ridiculous passes. Hey, don't get me wrong. I love our guys. We're 11-0. It's great. You're playing anybody else, you're 10-1 right now, because that effort right there would have gotten you beat by all other 15 teams in the SEC. I guarantee it. And I love my guy Penny. Man, Memphis is bad. And I know they've played some good teams and played a few of them closely, but that team right there is the worst Tiger team I've seen in a long, long time. And I cannot believe that we needed overtime to beat that team. What I will say, and then I'll pass it right to you, Chris, is this. I don't know how Coach Byington and the players didn't figure it out until overtime. And that's exactly what the commentators had it exactly right. Force Memphis into a half-court set. They cannot handle it. And you saw that. They have nothing. They don't have a point. They don't have a shooter. They don't have a big you're scared of. They have nothing in a half-court set. And it's as if we didn't figure that out until overtime. And once we did, what overtime looked like is what that entire game should have looked like. I get it. You have one of those sometimes. I don't. And the worst part of it all, Chris, is I saw so much one-on-one basketball, and we will never, 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 never. I don't care if it's Duke Miles or who. That reminded me a lot of last year when what's Jason's last name? Kid from North Texas
Jason
State.
Edwards.
It reminded me a lot of when Jason Edwards would kind of take over the game, and then if he did well, we'd hang in there or win a game, and if not, at times we could be in trouble. That's what that looked like to me Wednesday night, and I can promise you, if we play like that going forward against anybody of any type of talent, we'll get ran. I don't know what that was Wednesday night. I hope that was a one-time thing that you get out of your system as you get ready for Wake Forest, but that was one of – I'm glad we won. That's great. That's one of the most disappointing efforts I've seen in the Byington era. No, not one of. That's easily the worst effort I've seen in the Byington era.
Did that game get any run on your station before, after? Does anybody talk about that?
No, because Memphis is so bad right now. Right.
Well,
no.
I mean, but is Jackson? Is Jackson a Memphis basketball audience when it's going well?
No, it's Tennessee. Tennessee. Now, when they are really, really good, you have some old heads, because it used to be what it used to be, Big Jack and all that other stuff. They love that. But lately, no, they haven't. There hasn't been much Memphis basketball chatter around here in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, like, you would have rather have gone. I thought the first half they're going to go and win this thing by 20, and it won't be close. And then the second half, you could just kind of see it coming. That's one of those games you'd rather just go win it by 20 and take care of business. And maybe it's still getting used to playing ball after the break. I don't buy that as a huge excuse. These guys have played a lot of college basketball and had one to get out of their system. But I'll say this, you would rather be able to make teachable lessons in a game like that where you win one. And I think Mark Byington said it really well. He could just kind of tell by the body language and stuff in the huddle, all right, they'd kind of flushed it and were ready to play overtime. That my words, not his, but that's how I took it, hearing him speak it.
Yeah.
I wasn't in the room, but did watch the YouTube video of the presser. And that was so out of character for them that I kind of shrug my shoulders, go, okay, they won the game. It was ugly. They did not play well at all, but I feel like they'll learn from that. If they don't, they'll get beat Sunday at Wake.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question. And don't get me wrong, I love the fellas. I do. I'm not down on them.
Yeah.
But I don't understand how we got that far into that game.
I was so stunned by it. I couldn't really process what I was watching. It was so foreign from what I've seen. Did you see any patterns in there or any guys that you had an issue with? Or was it just
the guys on the court? Yeah, the guys that were on the court. No, I'm not being silly. I'm being serious. And here's why. And a couple things. And by the way, Coach Byington, and I'll just say it. Why didn't you, during one of these times, say, look, I don't know what it is you think we're doing or that this is how we play basketball, because we haven't played like that all year long and we never played this way. Why are we going to one-on-one sets where we're not even coming down and anybody's even getting a pass? We're just one-on-one and then trying to score on our own. When did we become that team? And how did he never stop them and say, that's over with? The next time I see one of you coming down on a set like that and doesn't, and I'm not trying to go all Hoosiers, the movie on you, but at least one pass. We weren't getting any of that. We were getting straight up one-on-one basketball, and it kept on going. And he didn't stop it. And I don't understand why. He's best coach I've seen in a long time in Vanderbilt. Love him. I have no right to even ask him questions about that great sport. But that's what happened on Wednesday night. It kept on happening over and over, and they kept on doing it. They haven't been coached this way. And so, yeah, it's true. That might be a one-time thing, but that means it exists in us to do that. And we cannot let that become a habit, because while we are a very talented team, we are. I mean, I think we're one of the better teams in the country. What I saw Wednesday night was highly disappointing. Yes, we got the win, and that's great, but I walked away from that game. There was none. I like the fight at the end. That was about it, and hitting some of those free throws there in overtime. Other than that, I didn't take much of anything positive away from that game.
The only conceivable defense I can give you for that is 2 games ago they were 29% from 3. And if you take Tyler Nickel out of it, they were 3 for 23. And then they were 19%, 6 of 31 against Memphis. The only thing I can say Is it maybe the threes weren't falling, and they're pretty good 2-point shooting and driving team.
Okay.
I'm still not buying it. I'm just looking for anything because it was so out of character.
Right. And I get that. And I would ride with you on that if these were squared up shots.
Yeah.
But they weren't even that. They were just flailing. I felt like I was watching the Bluff City Classic from back in the day with Shelby State and all that. I mean, they weren't even setting up. They weren't even squaring up on their shots. I mean, and it's almost all of them. Tyler was rushing things. Both Tylers were rushing things.
Tyler Harris looks awful shooting the ball. I don't know why, surely they've tried. I mean, now maybe if the guy's shot like that his whole life and he's been a 40% 3-point shooter, you let it go. Like, you can just see before the ball even comes out of his hand, it's not going to go in. And like, I thought the first month that kid's got a shot to be the best player on the team. Got a shot. I wasn't calling it. I didn't think he would be, but like somebody in the press box, like, man, how do they get this kid? Like, how's he not at Duke or Carolina? Like, he looked that good. He does not even look like the same person right now.
The good news is I agree with you on that. So that we know that it is within them for that to happen. So I expect if you get hit, whatever that is that's going on, get that squared away. I don't have to wonder if he's capable. I know he's capable. Yeah. You're right. I mean, he has that ability. So I will say this. There was a player that I liked a little bit on Wednesday night. I thought in key moments, I thought Frankie Collins played fairly well at point. Looked like he wanted the basketball in his hands. And that was all right. But I'll just say this. I'm glad we won. We survived. And again, look, that's a team that played Purdue within 9. Yeah. Something like that.
Wake within a point.
Yeah. So, I mean, but the reality is on that night, if that just looked like two bad teams and the only way to find out the winner was who wants it least, and then so, but like I said, that overtime really gave me, it helped me out a little bit. So while I did say I didn't walk away from a lot that I liked, when we had to have it and they understood that if they took advantage of these particular things, that they are clearly the better basketball team here. Yeah. I think they woke up, recognized that, owned overtime. And so I'm fine. I'm good with it. But I would agree with you. You bring that shooting effort and that overall effort against Wake Forest, and we'll get a double-digit loss.
Yeah. I like Collins a lot too. Probably needs to shoot a little bit less given the alternatives they have. But that kid's a dog, man.
Well, like you said, these other people aren't scoring from the last couple of games. They're not hitting.
Yeah. I do think, those three guards, Tanner, Miles, and Collins, are so good at disrupting what you're doing. And here's one thing I do like about them. Like, how many times have you seen games like that where a lot of Vanderbilt teams just kind of go into hibernation? They take it in against athletes and they're scared. Like, at least they were bold enough and confident enough in their stuff. Again, I'm not defending it, that they, instead of taking it to the hole and just expecting it to get thrown in their faces, instead they tried to make some ridiculous plays out of overconfidence.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean by that. And many years we've had rosters where we either have nobody or just one person who could, and the term we always use, create your own shot.
Yeah.
Do what it takes to get yourself either to take it in and put it up, or to pull up and take the shot, off of a move or something like that. And we've got multiple people that can do that. So while you can hear the angst about what I saw Wednesday, I do consider this to be probably just a hiccup, bump in the road. We still won. We're one of 7 teams left in America that's still undefeated. So and obviously, and if we can beat Wake, I feel like we have a decent shot against New Haven. I could be wrong, but we win that game. To go into conference play undefeated would be feather in the cap type stuff. So I'm ready for that. But we need to see a drastic improvement on, what is it, Sunday? We'll play Sunday, isn't that right? I think
it's a noon off. So
hopefully we'll see a much different basketball team.
Ken Pomeroy has them with a 67% chance to beat Wake, and 99.9% to beat New Haven, which I believe is in its first year of Division I ball. By the way, they are favored in every single game until 28th of February when they go to Kentucky, and I think they'll win that one. They're going to lose some before that, don't get me wrong, but that's what Ken Palm thinks of them compared to the league. Once you average out all the probabilities, he's got them 25-6.
I mean, I'll take that all day long. I don't know what I'll take that all day long. And I think,
hey, go ahead.
If I had to pick a pecking order, a top three right now, would you say at this moment? And I mean, we'll see. But to me, and I don't know, this is very subjective. I'm Vanderbilt, Bama, Florida, top three conference. Is that?
I'm Vanderbilt, Bama, Arkansas.
Okay. I can live with that. There's nobody.
I don't think Florida can shoot enough. Now they are big inside, like nobody's business, but they're one of the worst shooting 3-point teams in the country right now.
The bounce back by Tennessee against Louisville, which, I mean, Louisville, if I remember correctly, had just come off a loss. They're not playing that great at the moment. But that second half for Tennessee, if you get that version of Tennessee, and I got to be honest with you, and friends, I mean, I don't know how y'all feel about it. I cannot stand watching Jalen Carey play basketball anymore. It makes me sick. But he's carved himself. I got to give that to him. He's carved himself. He's a very good player. I'd love to have him on this year's team. There's no doubt about that. And he's certainly helping them along. But they handled Louisville. They just beat them. They handled them in that second half. They're somewhere up there near that top, I guess. But it's a drastic. It's a 180 from last year in the SEC, right? There's some teams closer to the bottom that are bad, and I'm not even really sure why. They just
Louisville had Michael Brown out, which is a little bit of a big deal, but still to wax Louisville that way was impressive.
Yeah, so I'm not mad at Vanderbilt basketball, but I sure hated Wednesday.
By the way, I noticed this. Vanderbilt is number 1 in the country in this per Ken Palm in terms of not having it shot blocked. Less than 1 out of 20 shots of theirs get blocked. And that might be for 2-point percentage. I think it is.
Okay, yeah. I was going to ask, so what do you put? I mean, do we not shoot enough in the paint? Or why do you think that is?
I think they got guards that take the ball strong to the hole. And, Washington flushes a lot of them. Number 2 in the country is Houston. Number 5 is Arkansas. I mean, those are teams with athletes that take it to the rack and aren't really scared of anybody. And maybe some of them, they haven't played shot blocking teams yet. That could be, but
I think one thing that's good is I think the metrics and the eye test match up for this team. Does that make sense to you? I mean, I think they do. Sometimes you see these metrics and I'm like, that's not who we are, but it is who we are. But this team, those numbers make sense to me. So far this year, outside of Wednesday, those numbers make sense.
They are right on that fence of they are really, really good with the shot to be elite. Now, it may not end up that way. Maybe we see another month of what we saw Wednesday and, there's a chemistry issue or something. I've not heard anything like that. I'm just covering all the bases here.
Maybe if this was last year's SEC, but, I mean, we're 2 games from that SEC schedule. So, I mean, I can't come up based on what we see out of this conference right now. Do you see a scenario, disregarding injury, of course, where they are not at least 500 in conference at the end of the year?
Oh, I couldn't imagine one boring. And even if you have injuries, you've got depth. I mean, it would have to be. I'm thinking of guys that you would least want to lose right now, because even if you lose Tanner, you've got Miles and Collins. And the same with Miles, you still got Tanner. And I think those would be arguably the 2 guys I wouldn't want to lose. Maybe Nichols on that list, because right now Nichols giving them something that nobody else is. I thought it was going to be he and Tyler Harris. If you take Nickel away, that's going to leave a mark for sure. I think if you take Jalen Washington away, it leaves a huge mark.
No, I don't think there's any question about that. Yeah, he's really starting to come into his own there for sure. Yeah, we need a little something in the paint for sure. So that would be one thing that would certainly hurt us for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you and I've switched places. You're usually the optimist, and I'm more pessimistic one.
That's
But
how perturbed I was by Wednesday night. I mean,
I
I'm
know
still
you must have really been.
Chris, you saw
smashing
what I
TV
saw.
or anything, did you?
We did
Well,
things that
right.
we don't ever do. We did
Oh, I
the
know.
negative things that we never do. So I don't know. It's a double negative. I understand, but yeah, I'm good. I know we're going to be fine. This just that left a terrible taste in my mouth. That's all.
I think the one thing that I would like to see is because the one thing that I think has surprised me a little bit lately. Let me look at the box score. They played Tanner 41 minutes, Miles 40, Nickel 37. Washington got 26 and really only had 3 fouls. He could have played more. Akereke 25. I feel like he's going to play 25 every night. McLaughlin got 26 because, again, he got in foul trouble. But with Washington, it's not as dire. I mean, that's the thing. I think you take Washington out and the other night McLaughlin's fouling out and they're probably losing the game.
What do we need out of McLaughlin? In your opinion, what do we need out of Devin McLaughlin?
Exactly what he's giving you. 10, 7 and a block and a half, maybe.
Yeah, and we'll take that all. I'll take that. Oh,
he is. McLaughlin has slid from the chair of like he needed to be like their second or third best player last year to where he needs to be about their fourth or fifth or sixth.
Yeah. Only thing that bothered me about him last night, that hit those free throws, man. Could have cost us. Hit those free throws.
Yeah, and the dumb foul that he got too, chicken fighting with somebody.
Yeah. Stuff we generally don't do. We'll be fine.
I mean, you're looking at went overtime the other night, and they really only played 7 guys. Collins played 21. He was number 7 in minutes. Bing played 5, and Harris played 5. Now, if you'd asked me a month ago, I would have said Harris is probably playing 18 to 22, probably closer to 22. And I would have said that who am I leaving? Oh, I would have thought Nicholson was giving them 10 a night by now. And he's nowhere to be found.
No.
Not to mention Mike James. So that's 2 pieces. I was never as bullish on James. He was coming off an injury, and maybe I didn't pay enough attention, but he just was never a really high percentage shooter at Louisville 2 years ago. And I know he played on a bad team, so you probably had to take more contested shots there than you do in this spot. But I thought, whatever they get from James, we'll see. I like their guys enough. I thought that Nicholson would really be a dude for them. And I thought that Harris, and look, they might end up being that. Like if these guys all stay healthy and Harris and Nicholson step up, I mean, look out. That might be a team you see one of the last.
That's why I'm not panicked because you mentioned the word depth, so I'm not panicked. We have no reason to be.
Well, I mean, it's depth, but it's not the bench right now. Those 7, 8, 9 guys are not giving you what I thought they were. But look, I set a really high bar for this team out of that exhibition game, and I guess that wasn't on TV, was it? No, it wasn't.
The Virginia?
Yeah. No. And then they went down and smacked UAB.
UAB.
Good.
Yeah.
I was like the first night I saw them play another team, I'm like, these guys are going to be good. I think I know when I'm watching, they're going to be really good. I just I've not budged off that.
And I got to give it, look, when the turnover is as great as it is, to be able to that early on, make that type of impression, that's great news. That's great. That's being very selective, but it's also great on Coach Byington's part. I mean, he's a fantastic coach. And hey, man, I mean, I just, and I'll go quick because we only got about 35 minutes left. But I mean, and this is not just about basketball. This is just the landscape of our coaches, our head coaches in our major sports. I mean, they're good people and they're good coaches who get results.
Yeah. And I think the thing that really is a common denominator in football and basketball success, I can't speak to women's, I just don't follow it. But I think they really used the portal without it blowing up on them. I mean, it did a little bit last year with Edwards, and they knew it coming in. But, I mean, that program was in the sewer where they took over. I mean, I'll give Stack credit for one thing. I've been meaning to do this. You give credit where credit's due. Tyler Tanner, man, Stack doesn't go out and get him. This feels a little different. I got to give him that.
If I may, just on this, and I will give him credit for getting him there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, I give him credit for that. He wasn't battling against everybody in the country. That's the first thing.
But
secondly, the player development aspect of things between last year to this year, 5 to 15, I think it was at one point. That's not Jerry Stackhouse. That's Tyler, and it's Mark Byington. Jerry got him there, and that's great. The player he's become doesn't have anything to do with Jerry Stackhouse. It has to do with Tyler and Mark Byington, in my mind. Now, you may disagree with that.
Sure. I mean, Sack never coached him a game. Sack might have driven him crazy, although from what I understand, Tyler is kind of a little bit of a homebody. So they were, I don't know who their competition was. They were inclined to keep him. The deck was stacked for them to keep him, and probably still is.
Right. So I'm not giving credit, but I don't give him credit for that.
Other than that, he left them nothing. But what I like about Mark is I feel like he's done a really good job of bringing in guys. Maybe we look back again, covering all bases, and Wednesday was the start of something where guys got too big for their britches and selfishness crept in. But it has not felt like that. Like they've gotten Tyler Nickel. You get the sense when you see him every time, like he's really comfortable here. It's working out for him. Duke Miles, what a great ad. I mean, my goodness, we didn't talk about that one enough.
It's the guy who was averaging 9 points a game last year at Oklahoma and was fine. I mean, there's no doubt, but
McLaughlin could have gone places. Let's look at the guys that left. I guess they did look. MJ Collins did put 41 on someone the other night. Like, okay, well, on that, maybe you'd like to have him back, but you don't lose him. You probably don't get Duke Miles, and I'll take that trade off any day.
Yeah, you and me both.
Jalen Washington. He and Nickel are both kids that signed out of North Carolina. Washington's playing the best ball of his life, hands down. And just, it seemed like his teammates like him. He's been fantastic.
And you wonder why. You wonder if it's one of the proverbial changes of scenery, because it's not like, he's coming down to town. Because I'd take Vanderbilt over North Carolina tonight.
Yeah, I would too.
What do you think that's about? I mean, I don't know. Because he just seems so confident now. Yeah, and he is.
See what he was out of high school. He was good. He was a 247, had him 68 overall. Let's see what the composite was for him. The composite was even higher. He was 55. As a transfer, he was rated 170 something. I think that was clearly underrated. But given the numbers he put up at the time, you can't really blame them. And maybe that's one where they needed a rim protection. Okay, he's got a 7'4" wingspan. You're going to take him, not knowing whether he's going to start or just be your 2 or 3. He's going to help you, but I don't. Maybe it's just a thing like at UNC, you walk in with expectations, and maybe it's just a thing where not having to beat a guy, having McLaughlin there already with a productive year. Maybe you're walking into a thing where nobody's looking at you and going. Because there was a day and time where they get a transfer from North Carolina, all eyes are on that guy. Here, he's just one of 7 or 8 guys that is really doing well, and it's not all that all the pressure that comes with signing like a program with UNC out of high school. Maybe just having
another guy on the team. Yeah.
He doesn't look like here's another thing. How many big guys hit 80% of their foul shots? That's a short list.
I agree.
Very underrated commodity.
He's been a huge get for us. I don't think there's any question about that. I'll just say one more thing about basketball, because I know we got to get the other half of this thing. I'm interested in, look, I still want to see this season, but next year, I'm assuming that Tyler Tanner's still here. I hope. I shouldn't assume that, but I think so. But I'm kind of wondering how we attack the portal next year when you got a guy like Ant Brown coming in. And Ant Brown with Tyler Tanner could be a lot of fun. We had to be real heavy in the backcourt on the portal this time around. I wonder if that will be the case next, because it's only one basketball last time I checked.
I think what he's figured out, and this is, I wonder if you're seeing Mike White, see what he did, and he's doing it at Georgia. Like, if you look at their numbers of what they did last year when they were on the floor, like, none of these guys were superstars somewhere else, but they all were most of them, other than Collins, who has some things that he makes up for it defensively. And besides, Collins was hurt a year ago. They're really efficient from the floor and from the line. They shoot the three well. They don't turn it over. And they get guys like Okereke, who's kind of like this year's version of Magnon in a different, like, he does everything. Like, Mark's kind of figured out, okay, I'm going to go get all these guys. I'm not going to chase, I'm just going to throw this out there, for example. Who's the kid at the Tennessee guy from Maryland? I'm blanking on his name.
Don't ask me that. I don't know. I can see him. I can't think of his name.
Jacoby Gillespie.
That's it. He had a big game the other night.
And look, I mean, like, nobody's complaining if Jacoby Gillespie's on this team, but what he's done is he goes and gets 7 or 8 guys out of the portal who can play. And you look up and you got this depth where a Harris isn't panning out or Nicholson hasn't panned out, but it's okay. You're 13 in the country and unbeaten because you've got 2 guys out of the portal last year that are happy. You made them fit. You moved one of them down a station in the lineup of importance with McLaughlin by getting a Washington. You landed a Miles kid who just ran side saddle to an NBA point guard last year and probably got forgotten a little bit. And I just think they were all, it was kind of the college basketball version of moneyballing it. Like, if you had a draft before the season and opened the whole Vanderbilt team up and said, hey, just the whole college basketball landscape, would any of those guys have gotten taken in the top 100?
Well, not by me, but
Yeah, and those guys. And that's my point. They got a lot of really good guys who worked here. Like, I feel like he's either gotten really lucky or he's found a formula, because I feel like he found it last year and said, okay, we had some success, and so no, we don't have to go get guys that may not be team first every night.
Yeah, this doesn't feel like luck. I'll just be honest with you.
All right, you're like, I want you to shut up about basketball and talk.
Shut up about basketball.
I will.
I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. I don't care. But because I only have about 25 minutes, I do want to talk a little bit about football. I think you mentioned something about asking about the Diego situation. Man, I'm kind of like I'm with Clark. Was it stupid? Jeez, yes, it was iconically stupid. But I mean, what are we supposed to do? I mean, he's made his apology. It's time to get ready for the ReliaQuest Bowl. And I've had people ask me, does this affect his draft status? Well, yeah, sure. Because, I mean, first of all, I mean, look, when you were watching the Heisman ceremony, you got a true idea of Diego's height. He's not got a football helmet. He's not on the field. He's standing next to these guys, and he's significantly smaller than they are. Okay. Mm-hmm. So we already know that. And we can talk about what happened on Saturday. And frankly, hey, Diego Pavia's a better quarterback than Fernando Mendoza. Diego Pavia should have won that award. I feel that way. I do feel like the best player got snubbed here in this situation. I really do. But I've had a lot of people asking me this week, on the show, and they'll ask it again tonight, I'm sure. And they'll talk about, how does this hurt his draft status? And here's how it hurts, okay? It hurts because he's 5'9". That's how it hurts
anyway.
Well, no, wait a minute. But, let me explain. Okay. Here's what I mean. Yes, it does hurt anyway. That is true. But here's reality. The reality is, and again, Diego's my favorite player of all time. So, when I say something that might even remotely sound negative, this is not about his ability or anything like that. But he is very highly likely to be drafted as someone's backup, right?
Yeah.
Would you agree with that? Do we agree with that?
Yeah, if he's drafted.
Okay, if he's drafted, it's
Which was
to
a
be
little bit of a question anyway. I
right.
think he'll
So,
get drafted. I think he would have, but it's not a slam dunk.
but the thought is going into April that he's being drafted to be someone's second team quarterback, right?
Sure.
Okay, so
Or probably a 3.
all right, so if that's right, and that would make it even worse, and not everybody carries 3 quarterbacks, but some do. Think about it like this. All right. You don't want to have to put up with that type of stuff from your starting quarterback. And I can tell you right now that there are 32 general managers who will look you in the eye and say, there is less than no chance that I am putting up with this and having a second or third team quarterback a distraction in my locker room and having to answer questions at a podium, not because he should be playing, but because of actions about what my second team quarterback is doing. That is not a thing. That's not doable. So did that hurt? Yeah, but it hurt because he's 5'9". If he were 6'3" and had done the same thing, he would have been held against him. There's no doubt about it, because it was iconically stupid. Yeah. But if he's 6'3" and possesses the ability that he has right now, he's still a surefire top 10 pick, and nothing happened. So how did this hurt him? By being 5'9". That's I mean, you can give me a rebuttal, but I'm not going to change on this. I believe, yes, it affected him, but for different reasons than we certainly.
Well, it's like a supermodel. People overlook the flaws for the obvious reasons. If you're not a supermodel, you don't get away with that stuff. Now, Diego in his mind is a supermodel, and that's what has gotten him to this point. And I do not fault him one bit for thinking that about himself, because, man, if he hadn't, that's the engine that fuels him. But, man, you don't have to tell everybody, number one. And number two, I mean, I don't know. First of all, I'm just there's a societal commentary there that I guess I'll spare you.
Well, and the other side of the coin is, and of course, Clark handling it the way.
Well, let me just say that Clark handled it's okay. If Vanderbilt, the fan base is in this mood where it thinks that because everything is great, you can't criticize anything. No, that's not the way the world works. You call out the great, and then you say that's unacceptable. That's not. It's like if you're walking down the street one day and there's a $20 bill on the ground. Do you stop and pick it up?
Are you asking me if I do?
Yeah, I'm asking you. It's not a loaded. It's not. Yeah,
of course.
Because is it life-changing money? No, it's not. But you're $20 richer.
Right.
If you're going down the street, do you just take your wallet and turn it upside down and let your bills scatter to the wind? Now, whatever's in there, if you got $100, is it going to change your life? No, it's not if you lose it, but you don't want to lose it. Like, it's pushing your life in a better or worse direction. And like this whole halo effect with things is just gotten people's logic tied up and twisted. You know what? If I didn't know Diego Pavia, I thought it was a horrible way to handle the situation, right? And if I did that's a lot of what the world knows of him now. Like, how many drive-by sports fans, they're NFL fans and they just kind of follow college, and okay, you got this Pavia kid and he didn't win, and he should have won, let's be honest. But he didn't. And now that's what you know of him. He's going to be when you think of Tanya Harding, what do you think of?
Ooh.
I'm not saying that's a bad comparison, but you see what I'm getting at. When you think of Tanya Harding 35 years later, you don't think world-class figure skater. You think of the other stuff.
Yeah.
It's a move in that direction. It was an unforced error. And I've always said, like, let's say life had gone differently. I'm some kind of billionaire who travels the world running businesses. Let's say, I wake up tomorrow and there's an heir I didn't know and leaves me $1 billion. Now, Chris, you do with it what you choose. Do you know what the first thing I'm doing is?
Give me some of it.
Well, besides that,
Oh,
I'm
not sure. Go
we
to
at
Jenny's.
least
What's
buy
the
you a
first
camera
thing
and a
you do?
mic. But
Yeah.
the first thing I would do is I would hire somebody just to be with me. It's all right. And I know exactly what to hire too. It's a buddy of mine I've known for 35 years. And I would just say, I need you just to be by my side all the time and don't let me do anything stupid and protect me against bad situations. You know what they should? Maybe Vanderbilt did this. Nice, by the way.
Finally saw it. There you
Yeah,
go.
I did. It took me. I was on a roll there. And maybe they did. First thing I would have done was, all right, Eli Stowers. There's a chance Diego doesn't win this. We know there's a pretty good chance. Betting odds for him winning it were 8%. Turns out he wasn't even close, which says a whole heck of a lot about the voters, by the way. The way that swung at the last minute tells you how little homework they did. All Mendoza had to do was let a kid miss a kick and make a 30-yard pass for a first down that Pavia makes 4 times a game. Anyway, over that, I would just say, follow me around. Don't let me do anything stupid. And they should have done that with Eli Stowers. They said, all right, he might not win it.
Yeah.
We know his propensity to do stuff. You saw it at Tuscaloosa. Eli needs to be tie string to Eli's wrist to Diego's the rest of the night. Maybe that solves him a lot of issues. I don't know. Maybe they tried, but I wish that had gone differently.
I guess I get that, but I mean, like there are players in the league that have that, but
yeah.
But they're also on your fantasy football teams. You know, they're also first team all NFL type players at times. They're not somebody who may or may not get drafted. I mean, I'm not going to give him that type of leeway in that sense. But you know, I'll say he's true to who he is, man, and I love him, and I wouldn't most of the things I would not change one bit of. And to be honest with you, Diego, I don't give a damn what narrative another fan from another team says about you or any of that other. I don't, man. To me, that just screams how good you really are. The fact that they're crowing loud. But yeah, you messed up. You know it. Yeah. But here's the deal. At the end of the day, the dudes apologized for it. I mean, I'm good. I'm good if y'all are. You know, I mean, I'll still be watching the game against Iowa and pulling for him, and I will still call him my favorite player of all time. But it was stupid.
I'll tell you where I do agree with him. I don't think the voters did their homework. I'd be pissed too. I don't think people saw the stuff that you and I saw him do every week. I think you had a guy out there. I think you had a guy out there, Mendoza, who's really good. I think you had a guy in Pavia out there making 3 or 4 just game-changing plays every week.
That unique to this year, though? Is that unique to this year in this situation?
No. And here's the thing. Back on when I said a month ago, I'm worried that them not having a better done thing ahead of time for his Heisman candidacy. Yeah. And why would there never was you could put together a highlight reel that would blow everybody's socks away with his stuff. Never saw it. Still haven't seen it all in one place. Maybe somebody did it. I think I would have found it by now. If
I'm one of those voters and I know who those finalists are, I don't need your hype video.
Well, here's the point I'm going to make, though. Okay, I have done just in blogs or YouTube. I've done a lot of my own ratings, and all right, if I'm going to rank the top 10 players in the league in basketball or football, or I've participated in a lot of that. And I get to the end of the year, and this is not just with Vanderbilt. In fact, usually Vanderbilt is nowhere near the list on these things. And I'll look at it, I'm like, how did you make this guy first team all SEC in basketball? Like, I wouldn't have put him in the top 15 players, but it's reputation and it's name on the jersey. And then you see some guy that had a tremendous year and nobody caught it. And like you can see voting error all the time if you're really paying attention. That's one reason I don't pay a lot of attention to postseason teams. A lot of times I'm like, these guys are just not like, and I know what's involved. Like as a writer, you're watching your own team. You're lucky to know anything about, you know a little bit about the teams your team played, and then you might not know anything about the teams your team didn't play, which is half the league. I see so much dumb stuff on ballots that like I don't put a lot of value in them. But this is an award that people value and everything. You've got to lead horses to water. I mean,
That's
you really
exactly
do.
right.
And I mean, and everybody learned that now. But what is obvious to you and me and people that watch ball is not obvious to the common guy who votes on this stuff.
That's right. Several years ago, and I stopped doing this on my own because I just found it to be a farce. It was either the only or one of the only radio people voting on the AP top 10 in the state in high school football.
Yeah.
Well, Chris, I mean, come on. There's nobody on there that watches all these teams. If you live in Maryville, you don't know if Cloudland is any good. You don't have any good idea if Memphis Manassas is any good. You've never seen them play, not one single play. And I'm over here voting on teams with other people who haven't seen 95% of the people they're voting on. Mm-hmm. That is a farce. But this is different. You know exactly who your finalists are, and you have plenty of time to, if you are worthy of casting a vote of such a prestigious award, you owe it to not that person, but that award itself. And the fact that you've been given the opportunity to vote for it, do your dead blame homework. Not vote because you like this team or they're from your region. If there's a kid from Washington and a kid from Florida and a kid from Utah and a kid from Pennsylvania, then those are the four. You spend a lot of time and you watch and you dig because you were given the right to vote for that great award. So you need to do just that. And here's my issue. If all those people had done that and still came up with those percentages, then they shouldn't be voting on Heisman Awards.
Well, do you know I get privileges to vote for all SEC teams? Do you know how many times I've ever cast a ballot?
How many?
None.
Give me your reasoning.
Well, it's because, like in football, the all SEC teams, man, I'm just getting out of baseball. I'm getting into prep. I don't like to cast a ballot halfway. Like if I know 2/3 of the league, but I don't know about Kentucky or Mississippi State, I'm not going to cast a ballot because I'm not going to be the guy voting like everybody else and leaving guys off. Now, probably nobody else does that, but I just don't like to do something if I'm half prepared. And I would still probably do a better job than most of these people. They don't take it that seriously. And let's think about these voters, okay? Let's say you're a Heisman voter. You're doing that. You're covering your team. You're probably covering two of your teams because you're probably covering, a football team and a basketball team, maybe a women's team too. You got to get your AP vote ready for, Sunday for football. You got to get ready for basketball on Monday. Like a lot of those people have a lot of responsibility, and that's just college, right? How many of these people are covering an NFL beat or haven't? I just think people are too busy, man. And that's what you get.
Yeah. And, the difference, they have more resources at that level. They do like voting for things like high school. There's no excuse for Heisman voters to get
I would make it a panel of 2 or 3 dozen people that, co-cublics that watch football all the dang time.
No doubt.
And let them pick it.
Yeah, I'd be totally fine with that. Let me ask you this. Did you do a prediction on the place and the order of the four? Because I got mine exactly right, which I felt pretty sure they were not going to give it to Diego and that Fernando was going to get it. And then after Julian lost that, I thought he was going to go buck behind Jeremiah Love. So the order to me, by the time they got there Saturday, was fairly easy.
Yeah,
nobody. Right.
I did make a prediction, but that's the way I would have handled it.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
With some doubt about saying or love for.
Yeah, but just last word on Diego, man. Look, I love that kid, man. I'll fight for that cat. There's There's no doubt about that. Diego, do we think you got jobbed? Yeah, we do. Just, I mean, if you get some opportunities in the pro side of things, you just, like I said, man, they don't have to put up with that, and they won't.
Yeah.
You know, there's too many great stars and big time and then all this other stuff, and you will be forgotten, or naturally you'll be remembered, but not the way you want to be. So, man, to prove them all wrong, because we know. Because here's the thing. Here's the other thing. Other than maybe a little or a Heisman pose, man, you and I both know that Diego Pavia in between the white lines is all business. He's all business. Yeah, you can talk about gestures to crowds after the game, but when that game is going on, his teammates and that defense have his full attention. He's nowhere else but in that moment, and I've always appreciated that about him.
Well, and this is what I was going to – I had a thought that I lost a minute ago. I'm going to get back to it, and I'll tie it all together here. Okay, Clark Lee won Coach of the Year. So there were like three or four like big things, like is Stowers going to win the Mackey Award? He did, which I think was justified. Throw that one out, though. But between should Vanderbilt have been in the playoff, should Clark Lee have been a National Coach of the Year, and should Diego have won the Heisman, which one do you feel the strongest about?
Diego winning the Heisman.
Me too.
Yeah, I feel like he just should have won it. Yeah, I mean, he should have won it.
I could have argued that Vanderbilt should have been in there, but there were 4 or 5 teams for that last spot that I could have made an argument for. And I could have made it convincing for any of them. So Vanderbilt's probably the team I put in, but Diego, to me, that was the one that was a slam dunk. Even Coach of the Year, like I'm really glad Clark got it. You could have very justifiably given that to Cignetti because he reassembled that whole thing again, and you know they're unbeaten.
I mean, and not only that, because look, it's actually really easy. That's a super simple question, because with Diego, this was about him winning it all. And I think most agree that he should win it all. Not should he have been invited to New York on the back end of things. With Vanderbilt and the football team, we're like, okay, if there's a spot or right here, or maybe 2 at the back end, are they the most deserving? Yeah, probably there. So there's a lot more answers to that. And with the Coach of the Year, look, I mean, am I really going to bang against Cignetti? Won in Eugene by double figures. Beat Illinois by 53, beat Ohio State when it looked like nobody could beat Ohio State, and did all those things. But that wasn't smoke and mirrors. I have no issue with that, and I have some issue with Vanderbilt being in or not. I think they should have been in, but that's what it is. But I have no doubt that Diego should have won the Heisman. So
yeah. By the way, got a text, a couple texts as I'm doing this. Guess who's starting a bowl game?
I don't know what you mean. Who is starting a bowl game?
Former Vanderbilt players getting a start in a bowl game. I guess.
Oh, Ken Seals.
Yeah. Are they playing
I think the TCU quarterback transferring, he's hitting the portal or something like that, right?
Good for him, man. I love that family. I will call his dad. In fact, I've been meaning to do it. I talk to his dad every now and then just because we're still.
If you care anything about me at all, you'll tell him I said hello.
Of course.
I used to talk to him all the time. He's a great dude. Yeah. So congratulations, Ken. Go get him, big guy.
Yeah.
All right. That's do we need a bag or anything like that? I got about 5 minutes max. So
we answered the mailbag question. It was the big one. I like this one though. We'll do this in the mailbag and we'll close it out. Mailbag is presented by Sutherland and Belk, a family-owned injury law firm. If your loved one has been hurt in an accident, give Taylor or Russell a call, 615-846-6200. See what your rights are if they can help. Guest line presented by John Levin and Womble Bond Dickinson, also game and packaging systems leaders and end-of-the-line packaging automation. They're friends of the show. We appreciate those guys. Question from Admiral VU. If you were to swap Vanderbilt Kentucky's basketball record, is it fair to believe that Kentucky would be ranked number 1 in the AP poll, and Vandy would not be ranked? I like that one.
I do too. Number 1 and us not be ranked, maybe not to that extreme, but Kentucky wouldn't be 13th. I can say that, but would they be number 1? I can't say that either. If you look, I'll say this. Now, it's one game. Is what it is, but if Arizona plays like they did against Alabama, I'm not sure who's going to beat them. What was that, a 21-point win, I think, something like that? That was fairly impressive for sure.
I mean, that Vanderbilt may end up belonging in that top tier. We just don't know.
Yeah, they might. They very well might.
Team. They haven't played a Purdue or an Arizona or a Gonzaga or a Michigan. So I don't have a huge issue with it. I mean, they've beaten a lot of good teams, you know, eight seed NCAA type to NIT type teams. We'll see where those guys finish.
You know, I could see some of those teams that we're talking about and aspiring to get where somewhere along the way, if they're playing UCF, Western, St. Mary's, VCU, Memphis, I could see them, even that level team, dropping a game somewhere in there, and we didn't.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, we've only had two within double figures. You know.
Well, I mean, Memphis put a scare into Purdue for a bit, I believe, too. So, yeah, I think Kentucky. I'm just not impressed.
No, not so much. Not so much at this point. We shall see. But I got to say one thing. The same for you, Chris. Saw your friends and our friends there at the website. Next time I come in here and there's one mailbag question.
Yeah, what's the matter with people
I don't know who y'all are.
Nobody
let
in
me
the
tell you
chat?
something. Am I boring you? One mailbag question? Are you nuts? Don't talk to me about it being Christmas. We've got all kinds of stuff going on in VU Sports right now. So don't let that ever happen, please, ever again. Yeah. I'm a very, very busy person. And so I will literally come hunt you down at your homes.
I did. We had the conversation. I texted you during work. You didn't care for that, but that is the reason I did.
That's because I'm in the middle. I'm on the air. It's not that I don't care for it. I'm just on the air at the time. So,
well, if you tell me the day before, I'll go ahead and post the mailbag then. Fair enough.
That's fair. So, can I put this on you instead of them? Because here it goes for you too. Let me tell you something, Chris Lee. If you wait 30 seconds before it's time for me to do a podcast, put a mailbag out there, I'm coming to your house too.
Well, I gave it a few hours in my defense.
Fair enough. But, I do hope all you guys have a Merry Christmas, man, for sure.
By the way, my guys Blake and Max at Southeastern 16. I usually do a lot of basketball stuff with them, and I've taken a back seat to do football stuff over there, and also do a little bit more over here. So I haven't gotten ingrained in SEC basketball like I usually am. They've been really bullish on Vandy, and I think they had them number one in power rankings 2 weeks ago. I think Arkansas jumped them. But, man, people are getting in all kinds of crap about Vandy. And, like, it got a little salty in the chat. I was like, wow. Like, our audience is usually pretty – we get some – like, there were a lot of people that had an issue with it. Like, have you guys not watched this team? And
I didn't know that
either. Right.
They haven't. Yeah. They see that name, but you know what, Commodore Nation, you know what's great about this, the way things are going. Look, I don't know what the exact rankings are. I saw somebody post something about us being 13th in men's and women's basketball and in football. And so I'm going to go out on a limb, and I have no idea. I'm not into Vanderbilt baseball the way you guys are. So I'm assuming they're going to be a preseason top 15 team. They usually almost always are. So if that's the case, name me one other athletic program in the nation that fits that bill, that could say that they're top 15 in all four major sports. Name me one, Chris, other than us.
I'm going to see if there's even another team that might be.
I've tried to do. I mean, I could take the time to sit back and look at all that, but you start thinking about all the top football programs, and you say, okay, well, let's see, what are they in this and this? Were they like Ohio State? Are they going to be top 15 in baseball? Probably not. Things like that. So somewhere along the way, they're going to falter. This Vanderbilt athletic department, top 15. What, in all four of those? Is that? I mean, who else fits that bill?
I'm thinking of possible. I'm looking at the AP top 25. BYU is not usually that good in baseball. I don't know how they're on women's bat. Louisville might be a possibility. I don't know how they're on women's hoops these days.
Are we the best athletic department in America?
What's Alabama in women's hoops? Alabama may be top 25 for baseball.
I'm talking top 15. We're talking about top 15, not top 25, top 15.
Well, I mean, even top 25, it's a slim list.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So I'm asking a question.
Maybe. I don't know.
Are we the best athletic department in America? at the moment, or the most, it depends on how you define success. We're not having championships here, but I mean, does anybody else fit that criteria at all?
I mean,
Anywhere?
if you're making a Heisman list and saying, "Hey, we'll bring 3 to 6 guys to to the unveiling," that they're probably in the discussion. I think ultimately the team that wins it is probably a team that brings home a title somewhere and is good at good at the others. But I mean, they're on the stage.
I mean, they call that, what do they used to call that? Like,
the Sears Trophy,
Governor's Cup, or something. The Sears Trophy.
Yeah, they don't. Well, and that's different. They don't have enough sports to really compete in that.
No, and that's that when you start putting all those other, and I'm talking about the format, what we would consider the four majors.
The ones that people actually follow.
Right. And of those four majors, and again, I don't know if there is a preseason top 25 in baseball yet. If there is, where we be? Do you think it would be top 15?
I mean, when's the last time that Vanderbilt didn't make the top 20? Top 15, I don't know, because
and I'm just talking about preseason. There's no way there's another team.
I think they'll be there. I think it'll be close.
Okay.
I think their lineup is not going to pop as much as some of the other ones, although I don't think it's going to be bad. I think it's going to be like the basketball team. They pieced it together pretty well with depth and parts that work. But
I think this athletic department has arrived, on the field of play and in the courts and all this other stuff. And I didn't think we realized it. We just kind of ended up there. Here we are, and I'll take them because, hey, it wasn't so long ago. Well, we're real good in baseball, but if you don't give a flip about baseball, you don't really have much to cheer about.
And I'll call out the rankers too. They finished 17-ish in baseball. Come on, man. You drop a team from the number 1 seed all the way down to 17. Like, does the regular season not matter at all? It
does.
I don't know how you do those, but I think top 10 would have been more fair with all the
maybe. But I'm talking about right now, current athletic season. We are in as good a position.
Right, but if instead, I'm saying if you wanted to play that game and say, well, okay, screw the preseason, let's go with results. The last one we saw, they should have been in their top 15 there too.
Man. Let me tell you about the results about what's coming if you don't get me off this podcast right now.
Yeah.
Traffic
everybody.
result.
By the way, Jordan answered your question. Favorite Brave of all time is Dale Murphy, hands down.
Is he asking me that?
No, he's asking me.
Oh, okay. So like none of them.
Nobody wants your opinion on the Braves. Who, by the way, had a really good week in free agency.
I'll tell you about Suarez, man. I'll tell you about Suarez. Now, don't get me wrong.
Yeah, I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, but I mean, look, I've just, as somebody who's watched every game he's played for the last 3 years, and when he's on, he's cooking. But lately, a lot last year, it was going to be high drama.
Yeah,
it was.
Well, I think he's set up.
Yeah. Oh, and he can be. Look, remember they brought in Mason Miller at the end of the last year. So, but they told Robert, said, we're bringing in Mason Miller, and even though he's way, way better than you, you can keep your closing job. And they let him do that, to their credit. But yeah, he's as a setup, I think he brings far more value. I don't trust him as a closer these days.
On the way out, just a reminder to people, subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's free. Be in the chat next time. I don't know what happened today. Subscribe to the website. I think it's $129 a year. Give somebody a Christmas gift for that if you haven't. That helps us out. And support our advertisers, our sponsors. If you're interested in that, chrislee70@gmail.com for your advertising inquiries. Hey, man, have a Merry Christmas. God bless you and your family, and we'll do this again. We won't do it next week. Oh, I got to tell you on the way out. Somebody gave me on the site, and the listener gave me a nice gift for Christmas, to which I am taking David. And this is the plan he's drawn up. We got to get it mom approved. I'm a little nervous about that, but he wants us to leave. We're going to the bowl game, but we are leaving Monday morning. We're going to hit a sports card shop in Atlanta that he loves.
Oh,
we're going to hit Falcons, Rams Monday Night Football. Tickets appear to be pretty reasonable. We'll get up the next morning. We'll drive to Tampa. We'll get in Tuesday night, do the bowl game Wednesday. And him not knowing geography, It's like, hey, we could just, since Miami's in Florida, we'll pop down for the Orange Bowl. It's like, well, it's 4 hours. But you've already gone 10. What's another 4? So we may do a trifecta of games next week.
Man, I am extremely jealous. For it. I'm very jealous.
I don't know if I can handle the driving, but we'll make it work, maybe.
Hey, I drove the last year's bowl game. That's going to have to suffice. I'll watch this one.
Gosh, I haven't done a bowl game since 2013.
Houston, North Carolina State.
2014, Houston, maybe. Yeah. So anyway,
because it was his 3 opponents were Cincinnati, Houston, and North Carolina State.
Yeah, I did NC State and I did Houston. So
I did Memphis for that one, then I did this one last year. Yep. Hey, Chris, thank you, buddy.
I'll get you out of here. See you, man. Everybody have a great week. Have a Merry Christmas if we don't see you again. You've been watching the Vandy 24/7 podcast presented by FanDuel.